All right, this is actually unbelievable. Look, something big happened, and look like many people are not paying attention to this. Many of you who follow me from last year, you can notice that from January last year, 2025, I've been updating you on the activity of the US and EU in Burkina Faso, how they have been going and coming and going and coming with their policies. And then, I mean, things are not working. They are trying everything possible to get involved, but the policies and new structure that Burkina Faso is now using to engage anybody that want to deal with them diplomatically, it's not working with their kind of way of dealing with people. So they have been doing the back and forth since last year, February. Even 11 February, record is there. EU officials went to Burkina Faso. I even published that. After that, it happened and happened. And this year, early, they have started again. The United States is in Burkina Faso. The United States is now trying everything possible to re-engage our brothers in the Sahel by hook or crook. And their new approach is going to blow your mind, because we know that for years, the United States, this has been their policy. No democracy, no cooperation, all right? No elections in your country like democratic, you are running election, we are not going to give you military support. But today, the same United States is knocking on the doors of Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, the three countries run by military government. The same people they call junta, the same people they once condemned, the same leader they once sanctioned. Now, as I'm speaking to you, they are changing their message and their approach. Their message right now is very different. The United States is surprisingly saying to Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger that, hey, brothers, we respect your sovereignty. And we no longer care much about democracy. We want to, partner with you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, since when did that language start coming from Washington? That's the question we need to ask before we get into the conversation. The U.S. State Department announced this. They announced that the head of African Affairs will visit Bamako, Mali's capital city. And their message is very simple. Let me read that quickly, and then we get into the details of what is going on here. Yeah, I got it. So they posted this on Twitter. Yeah, this is it, formerly known as Twitter. So it's now S, right? Yeah, Bureau of African Affairs. This is what they posted. Senior Bureau official Nick Checker is traveling to Bamako to convey the United States respect for Mali's sovereignty and desire to chart a new course in the bilateral relationship and move past policy missteps. So the past policy was a misstep, right? No problem. The United States look forward to discussing next step for enhancing U.S.-Mali cooperation and consulting with other governments in the region, including Burkina Faso and Niger, on shared security and economic interests. Wow! I mean, upload this, we don't trust you, but anyway, we want to hear what you have. It is surprising that the United States today is mentioning sovereignty, and according to them, they respect Mali's sovereignty and Burkina Faso's sovereignty, Niger's sovereignty, and they want a fresh start. They say they want to work with Burkina Faso and Niger on security cooperation, economic interest, and counter-terrorism efforts. There was no mention of democracy or human rights in the announcement. Why is the United States doing this? Very important question. It is simply because of the strategic minerals. The Sahel, we know, is rich in valuable resources. When you talk about gold, Mali and Burkina Faso are leading the fight over there. When you talk about lithium, Mali is leading. When you talk about uranium, Niger is leading. So Niger has already taken control of its main uranium mine from French company Orano and is preparing to work with Russia instead of the United States of French companies. Washington does not want to lose influence over regions that supply critical minerals used in energy, battery, and military technology. Because Russia's, should I call it influence? Yeah, let's use influence for communication purpose. Russia's influence is growing in the region, all right? The United States does not want Russia to become the only foreign power influencing in the region. So instead of pushing the people away and threatening them with threats, they have decided to re-engage them. And when you look at the kind of support the United States want to give the Sahel, they want to give them, they want to share intelligence with them. They want to provide them with counter-terrorism assistance and possibly supply weapons to them. But they made it clear that they will not, the United States made it clear that they will not send large numbers of troops to the region. The Sahel, Mali, Niger, no. They will not reopen their base in Agaze, located in Niger. They will not reopen their military base or their drone base in Niger. Now, somebody will be asking, how about democracy? The United States made their stand or position very clear. In quote, they said democracy is appreciated. We do not want to interfere how countries choose to govern themselves. And this position of the United States is a huge shift from U.S. past policy, because their past policy actually pushed African countries to follow Western-style democratic system. What is most shocking of the conversation is that for years, we know the United States have criticized these leaders for ending democracy. They criticize them on human rights based analysis. Under President Joe Biden like this, the U.S. stopped military cooperation with them because of democracy. And since the return of Donald Trump, they are engaging, to re-engage the Sahel in a different way. Let me tell you something. The Sahel, don't be afraid, because these people, they know how to deal with the United States or the West, because they understood them, or they understand them very well. One of the things is that since last year, 2025, the EU, together with the U.S., they have been, going there. They have been going there consistently. When they go, they will have a talk, things are not clicking, they will go back, they will come back, they will have a talk, things are not clicking, they will go back and come back. You see, they have a pattern of dealing with African countries. And Burkina Faso has changed the pattern. So it becomes difficult for them to fit in. And I know that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they did it purposely so that, their sovereignty can be respected. When they come to these people, they come to your country, they don't have respect to your sovereignty. They come and try to do their things and try to do it the way they want it to go to them, or the way they want it to go with them. All right, they don't care a fig about sovereignty and whatever. You need to do things according to this. You look like they own your decision. But right now, our Sahel brothers are changing the game, how the game should be played, how everything should go. So they are going and coming and going and coming. At the end of the day, it is either they bend to the rules of Burkina Faso or there will be no deal at all. Now, let's look at the double standard right here. When the United States said that they want to go there and they don't want to interfere in how countries today govern their countries and the kind of governance system they run, that raised a lot of questions. Because as we speak right now, Donald Trump, the president who brought this policy to the White House, which is that let's respect countries, how they want to govern themselves. As I'm speaking to you, is the president of Venezuela. The president of Venezuela has been kidnapped, taken to the United States, and then he's on trial just because they have decided who they want to sell their resource to, or who they want to engage, or who they want to do business with. That is the reason why the president currently has been arrested. If that is not interfering in people's country, how they want to govern their country and then run their own affair, then what is this that the United States is telling us, that they don't want to interfere how the people govern their countries and all that? They are doing that already. Another example is Greenland. Oh, no, we can't have Russia closer to Greenland. Greenland does not have the sovereignty to choose to deal with Russia or China. No. We are taking Greenland. Greenland must become the United States of America. Donald Trump must become the president of Greenland. That's all. And then, they are pushing towards that. How about the fact that we are moving towards some particular countries because they have decided to build nuclear infrastructure to protect themselves. And we say, hey, you can't do that. So what is the respect for sovereignty on one side and disrespect for sovereignty on one side? We want to understand. So the whole thing is not clicking correctly. But, well, that is what is going on in the Sahel right now. They have announced it. I read it to you. The head of African Affairs will go to Bamako, and then the outcome of the meeting, everything, I'll put it out here. We'll see what exactly they've gone there to do. But anyway, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, you just have to be careful because Africa is watching, the world is watching. We know your stand, and it should not be compromised. And we know that they will not compromise it, but it's a good thing that we still maintain that, it shouldn't be compromised. But as I always said, opinions are different. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Respect.